Hello Bloggineers, we are at Knott's Berry Farm. Today we're checking out Behind the Fog, a behind-the-scenes tour of Knott's Scary Farm.
From costuming to makeup, sound to lighting, story and innovations, Knott's is the world leader in Halloween events. From our talented street monsters who created the art of sliding, to our world-class shows, Knott's Scary Farm has become a worldwide phenomenon. Today, our terrorific tour guides are going to take you into the never-before-seen world that creates these one-of-a-kind nightmares. Be sure to take notice of all the hard work that goes into crafting these immersive and horrific attractions. Oh, I wish I could go with you, but alas, someone has to drink this cognac. Until we meet again, stay safe, my little creepies. It's scary out there.
We're gonna go on this 3-hour We're gonna go on this 3-hour lights on, frights off tour. It'll take us to 3 of the 6 mazes, and each time. And when you go on the tour, the 3 mazes are random, but I'm sure they're all pretty cool.
Excited to take you guys inside. Now, being our media representatives, I'm sure you guys know already a lot about the history of Knott's Berry Farm and the history of Scary Farm. We'll throw in some tidbits here and there as we get started, but what we are going to kind of just touch on again real quick, I know they kind of gave you...
Hello Bloggineers, your Knott's ambassador here. Alright. Ambassador? Okay. Hello Bloggineers, your Knott's ambassador here. Today we're going on the Behind the Fog tour. Behind the Fog what? What's it?
Behind the Fog tour, beyond the fog, behind the scene.
Yeah. Hello Bloggineers, we are at Knott's Berry. Hello Bloggineers, we are at Knott's Berry Farm, and today we're going on the Hello Bloggineers, your Knott's ambassador here. Today we are at Knott's Berry Farm, and we're going on the Beyond the Fog tour, which is a behind-the-scenes tour of Scary Farm. Hello, Bloggineers, your Knott's ambassador here. Hello, Bloggineers, your Knott's ambassador here. Today we're going on Beyond the Fog, a behind-the-scenes tour of Scary Farm.
No, it's not Scary Farm.
A behind-the-scenes tour of Knott's Scary Farm.
Excellent. One thing that is happening on this tour is that one thing that will artifacts and things to look at that will be available in March. So we're still getting that set up right now. It's something we've already examined before I got this done. They are like that spot. You know what? Why don't we gather right here? It seems like an appropriately ghoulish spot. What do you think? Not controversial. Yes.
Alright.
It looks like we got some folks there already gathered there in Ghost Town Street. So I figured this is an appropriately gruesome spot to gather to talk about a little bit about the history of Ghost Town. Now, Ghost Town, of course, is our oldest section of the park. It's kind of the way the park got started. I'm sure all of you are pretty well aware of this fact. But it is also the heart and soul of Knott's Scary Farm. I'm sure many of you have looked down that particular street, and during the day, quite a bit different, but at night, what is it known as? Anyone have any Ghost Town Streets? And this section in particular is the heart of Ghost Town Street. Anyone know the name of that one? It's often known as Fog Alley. Fog Alley. Because if you've been here during Scary Farm, and I assume most of you have been here during Scary Farm, show of hands, absolutely just choked with fog and lurking creatures. This is where it all started. Back in the 70s, this area was mostly just a meet and greet. You'd have things like, especially in the first year, you'd see Frankenstein, you'd see Dracula, you'd see the Wolfman. You'd even see a couple of apes from Planet of the Apes. One of the people in the costume department actually had some of the original molds from Planet of the Apes and was able to get masked. So there were a couple of apes just walking around as well. None of it was particularly scary because this was all just to kind of showcase the Halloween party idea and Seymour's show that was going on at the time. But it was a huge hit, and so people kept coming back anyway. Now, the interesting thing is, as we know it today with the scare actors roaming the streets, that was kind of a happy accident. In 1977, when my mom was 16 years old and came here for the first time, fun fact, on the first night, people were just hiding in the peek-ins. At the time, they would just let actors into the peek-ins. They'd put all the peek-in actors, or the mannequins, in masks and just have them sit there looking spooky. But among them, there'd be real actors who would sit there and at the right moment do a scare. Now, a fellow by the name of Bob Vernon break them along the ground at people or use them and crawl toward people. And after that, it built up toward where they were getting, skate gear, knee pads, elbow pads, and crawling along the ground at people. It wasn't until we started moving more from the hard dirt that used to be here to the slurry that they would paint the dirt with, to eventually just the concrete and stonework we have now, all the blacktop. Now you got the sliders in a perfect place where they can just slide and get the advantage of that. But it is important to remember that Ghost Town is the heart of this, and often the stories that were told by the monsters in Ghost Town led to the creation of some of the maze ideas here. And I'll talk more about that when we get to Origins, but we're going to be going backstage to begin with to start talking about, I believe, the depths. So,
Into the depths we go.
Into the depths we go.
We start our tour in Ghost Town, and they just gave us a history of Scary Farm. So, wait, what happened? We're now in the back lot, and we're heading to our first maze, the depths. What the heck?
I don't know if you guys heard, but if you guys could not refrain from recording the entire time we're in the maze, there are going to be specific
photographs or
spots.
video recording when we're backstage because, I'm not even allowed to do that. So, you want to sing or are you going to like to talk about this? I apologize for getting a little addled in his old age. Oh, there we go. Thank you. How very considerate of him. All right, welcome to the Depths. The Depths was designed by originally by John Cook and John Aspirin. This is actually one of our. I think this is going into its third, maybe fourth year. Actually, this is like this. They all kind of start to blend together after a while, which is interesting. I really like this maze quite a bit, and as you know, every good maze starts with a good backstory. Usually, something the designers pitch to Knott's Scary Farm to get it established. This one is no exception, of course, and I'm going to tell you as much about that as I am aware. I love the stories of the mazes, so they tend to stick pretty strong up in this area. So we are about to enter the Night's Watch Mining Company. This was established in the town of Amity Cove back in the 1930s. Now, Amity Cove, pretty quiet town, small town. Everybody knows everybody in this place. And most of the people, the fathers, sons, uncles of this town, worked in the Night Watch mine. No one's sure exactly what they're mining, but it was the main source of the town's revenue outside of its fishing. Now, according to the legends, there was all kinds of unusual things supposedly hidden in the depths of these caves, these natural sea caves, on the cliffs where the mine was established. But most people passed them off as just stories. And everybody figured, well, it's not that big a deal. At least until one fateful night when the mine crew went into the mine and never returned. Everybody speculated about what had happened. All kinds of wild stories began to bloom around the town. Stories of sunken ships, sea monsters, undead mermaids, horrible creatures beyond comprehension, very Lovecraftian. 10 years passed and there was no sign of the missing miners, and it was eventually just left to go. The role you are taking in this maze is you have decided that you, despite all the warnings by spooky old fishermen here, and you should always listen to spooky old fishermen, let's be honest. If you're genre savvy, you listen to spooky old fishermen. Despite his warnings, you've decided to go into the mines and try to find out what happened and maybe determine what the Night Watch mine crew might have disturbed that caused their disappearance. So if you'll follow me, we'll head into the depths.
Find out what happened.
Not a lot of room in the corridor, so I'm thinking maybe take a look around over there, see, drink it all in, and then you'll come past me into this elevator.
What?
Oh, yes, please come in. Please come in.
So last year, this wasn't because of COVID, they didn't do this.
That's true. I'll talk a little bit about this. Yeah.
Mine shaft time.
I definitely appreciate how trusting everyone is to come into this elevator.
You're all fools.
When I just told you this horrible story about a, abandoned and haunted. Yeah, I apologize. We're still kind of working things out here. But I'll let you know ahead of time what your are.
Oh, that's fine. Yeah, go.
I think she was really kind of freaked out a little bit by it.
Oh, wait. What face?
You're happy to report this is another recording and photo spot.
Yes,
Right here.
absolutely.
So you're welcome to take video and pictures in here. You can imagine how beautiful this looks with the lights off too. But with the lights on, you can really take in the move in here. But I've never seen more people kind of tightly on the lines in here as they're worried. Maybe sometimes, frankly so, worried about accidentally tripping over the talent. But don't worry, talent can see you can't see them. suspect, based on the fangs, that this is one of the crew of that cursed ship, just because they seem to have an otherworldly origin. We don't know for sure. Yep.
You guys let us know when you're ready to move on to from this room. We know this one in particular is big and there's a lot to see.
I did have a question.
Yes.
So,
Normally during Scary Farm in this room, there's knee-high fog, so it's like you're walking in the water. And then there's monsters crawling underneath the fog that come out to scare you.
Probably when we get to Waxworks. At least that's been our experience.
I think so.
No,
These ones do.
that's 110.
Most of the backstage houses we can actually keep intact
Look at this giant octopus.
because they're not being used
Yes.
for other things that
Wait. Its tentacles are taller than me.
It's great, isn't it? Yeah.
Welcome to the Octopus Garden.
I like.
I always think when they thought of that idea, and then to finally make it real.
Is it really?
You are going to see more of like the laser light effect to give the water, some smoke.
I've heard behind backstage calls this call the depths these spooky Goonie caves, but also making you feel like it's falling into this underground lagoon. Now the interesting thing, of course, is if you've been yeah.
So in line with
That was the depth maze. Is it called maze? That was the depth maze, and during the daytime it looks pretty cool. Like it's colorful, and there's not too many dead bodies. But during nighttime, I'm sure what makes it scary is the darkness and all the monsters that jump out at you. Oh yeah. I've never been to Knott's Scary Farm, and I still don't really want to go at night. But it's cool that I can come during the daytime when I'm not getting jumped at.
right.
The next maze we're going to is Waxworks.
It's hard to see them during the day, or during the night sometimes. But yeah.
That actually ties into the story of this one too. So Waxworks is run by Dr. Augustus Scratch. However, it was not his to begin with. People were not too happy, and he completely lost his license. And after he lost his license, he didn't know what to do with his life, so he figured, well, I'll come back and run my father's wax museum. Now, as he was starting to get back into crafting, he still had that obsession with flesh, with the human body, and he wanted to find a way that he could make maybe his father's wax figures and human flesh work together. And as his sign, when it is running, his video projected says Waxworks and it's melting, a la wax. And this devil figure up here, this maze originally had a different name to the public in order to. Alright.
I'm gonna just remind them.
Watch out for these guys, they're just hanging out. Oh, it's actually not too hot in here today. This is nice. As with any kind of wax museum, so in the back you see we've got Hall of Patriots. We've got a Holly. So the vampire that's pictured, that is the vampire queen of Knott's Scary Farm, Sandy Graham. She was a pretty prolific haunt figure for a very, very long time. So that's how we pay homage to her. This is the one that gets a little toasty too, guys, so if at any point you feel...
Glass right here, so that, you can get people behind here and they can be really loud. This is really solid, so you can get people behind here going...
That's usually your first scare when you come in.
Especially if they're hiding down here and you just look at this figure and then suddenly, here they come. Now the monsters in here are...
Easter eggs. I'll try and get as much of us into the hallway as we possibly can. But when we come through, if you see here this back corner, it's a nod to one of our popular...
Yeah, I can get out of your way if you just want to get the space like I did too.
Oh, you can't record in here.
And take photos of the masterpiece.
I mean, their masterpieces should be documented.
I
That's how
agree. It's what Augustus Scratch would want.
that turns it, so that way talent can just be on top of this, slowly turning around.
Yeah.
The monsters in here, the creatures that come to scare you, they all kind of look vaguely like Marilyn Monroe.
That's why. That's why I think.
And they, particularly according to the story, they were brought in here and they were told they could be made more beautiful, and they hate seeing others. Scare over there where they will shine a spotlight in your face to try and distract you before they get you.
That's why I don't remember.
And there's a foot pedal right here for them to activate.
This is your
that, too.
tree, right?
Yes.
For wax.
There.
Oh, poor Audrey.
And then this blonde lady doesn't have a name, so she has become known as the Mystery Red Dress Woman.
Oh.
You lost it.
This is the masterpiece room. It has a lot of Hollywood actors like Marilyn Monroe and Bruce Lee.
But Dr. Scratch, when he used tools to work, he took his old surgeon wax and gave it maybe a word loss.
At night when you go through the maze, you can press this, and Augustus Scratch, who made the maze, will give you and Augustus Scratch, who made the maze, will tell you about this, just like if you were in a museum.
Look horrified.
What? Oh, yeah.
The context here is not intentionally doing that. It's
When we're in show mode. This you can definitely take photos of.
Thank you.
She's a combination.
Wash your hands.
Tell you what, y'all go ahead and take points. I'll hang back here.
Oh. Oh.
So masterpiece number 1 was the rotate.
Yes.
Masterpiece number 2.
Was the candelabra that was in the horror hallway?
Oh.
The one that had all of the melted.
Yes. There's
Yeah.
candelabra.
So we were winging our way through there.
What's my comment?
The candelabra lady?
Candelabra lady. Oh yes. Okay. Through the grates.
Yes.
Yeah, there was a button. Okay. Candelabra. I should write this down.
This is kind of the sequel. I guess, yeah, in a way. Dr. Scratch is not the marionette murderer, but close enough.
Spiritual parts. We've got some, you're again kind of see like who's human and who's mannequin based on the state of their body. And this is our masterpiece number 3. This was made in-house, and they pretty much just told me the show is running here in the maze. I'm a little too short to reach up and do it myself, but if you tap, it might move a little bit. And then,
Can we tap it?
yeah, if you guys can reach up, it's more so up at the top. We try to get the head. It might be a little too, I think other people have pushed it off to the side a little bit.
Huh.
But the way that it's angled right now, it does swing back and forth up above everybody.
You
There it goes. We need at least.
Wait, let me do one like this.
I
so we
checked.
have it.
That was too.
It looks good with Thank you. I'm here.
Oh, okay.
I'll get out of the way so people can.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, yeah, we can take a full one of them.
You want-
They were on it.
Right?
On it. I could.
Oh yeah, go for it. I was gonna take a picture of both of you.
1, 2, 3.
Well, this is the vat works. This is where everything gets done. This is where the magic happens, so to speak.
In this one, you see it, right?
No. What comes up? Is there?
There's a victim in
It's a
there.
person.
Oh, I thought maybe a scare actor.
Yes, there was a scare actor who was playing a victim. They basically.
That vat back
I say
there
br-
on
I
the
say
other
bring it.
side has like a little water and steam effect that comes out of that one.
So it looks like water is spilling out into this pantry here. This is another example of how we take a scene to go from a smaller scene to a bigger scene, and this scene feels huge once again
Yeah.
because we've gone through this environment. So you can get the sense.
You definitely manipulate people's senses
Right.
doing that, going
With the-
from the small to the big.
With the lighting
Even though they're
and
not-
with everything. But this did originally just come from Halloween. Yeah, we've got our water effect there, and then the scare actor right in this one.
Scratch too, doing his work. He tends to roam to different parts of the maze, though. He's one of the free roaming.
He's a
it's a hard task to rebuild a burnt house.
At night, there's a scare actor in this pot that will pop out, but he's pretending to be a victim. Like he'll be like, "Help me!"
You admiring his tiny whiteys?
What? Half
Yeah,
it.
they're little. Yeah, they're a little less on the.
You want to be tall. I have to like.
And that was Waxworks. It was a lot more red and bloody than the last one. My favorite part was that I was able to go into one of the scaring cabinets and then jump out at everyone. And I like how all the mazes have a storyline. Like this one has a serial killer that works at a wax museum. Okay. Normally on the Beyond the Fog tour, you'll come into the Ghost Town Town Hall to learn more about the history of Scary Farm.
The monsters will talk amongst themselves and go, hey, why are we all here? What is it that brought all the monsters and the ghosts and the ghouls and the horrible undead to Calico? And because we had the witch hangings take place in the past, roughly from the 70s and the 80s and onward, those were handled very seriously, kind of, before they did the hanging, the more comedic version of that. It was always a witch hanging. So combining that story with the fog and the monsters, this story built up over the years of a witch who put a curse on Calico, and that every October ghostly fog manifests and causes the dead to rise and the living to transform into bestial, horrible creatures. That is the story we're going into right now here in Origins. And how perfect is that timing on that? I'll give you at least the opening feel. Green Witch is kind of our main icon. She's been around on the park for a while. We're going to be telling her story. You see, after she was accused of witchcraft back in the 1840s, town posse rounded her up. They were sent to hang her. She spat a curse at the town by her, saying that she would have on her head. People would see people for the monsters they really were, and she vanished. She escaped from the news. Sometimes in a puff of smoke, sometimes escaping, transformed into a dove. The legend always changes. The role we're taking in this maze is we are in the immediate aftermath of that disappearance. We are a posse going to try and find Sarah Marshall and bring her to justice. We're right on her trail as she begins wreaking havoc across Ghost Town. This phase is my personal favorite because it ties so closely into the history of not only Ghost Town, but Knott's Berry Farm and Knott's Berry Farm. In fact, as we go through, you'll see a few nods and things that aren't even here at Knott's Berry Farm anymore. That said, you ready to go find this witch? Yes. Let's go.
The next maze is Origins.
So, do you guys know?
I know, exactly. Poor Sarah.
So you're gonna make a right and then go to
Right in here.
Yeah.
So we would normally be coming here. Under the dorm room. Can you let us know where we can take it? Yes, yes, we will. Yeah. Just so I know what not to do.
Yeah. So the ones we want close up suburb, the ones
Even the level of detail in these rooms, they're still kind of scary. You know? Oh yeah. Oh, keep going. I think it's straight through the curtains, not the brown.
Chapel?
Wait.
To the chapel?
Yes, to the chapel. Perfect. Yeah, these are some of the exits that are monsters. Oh, also really quick as you walk by, I'm sorry, you guys peek your head in. This is also a child's drawer. You can take pictures in here, please. Take lots and lots of pictures.
Wait.
This is our chapel.
No, but he's looking down. Fine.
I did wonder.
So in the chapel, as you guys are coming in and taking pictures, Sarah has started to raise the dead.
Sorry.
And there's a couple of cool things. Come on in. We're in the chapel. This is okay to definitely take pictures here. So please take, we can stay here for a few minutes. I'll just keep talking. But Sarah has started to raise the dead. And what you're going to see is in this section here, you are going to get a Pepper's ghost effect. with the Bride of Calico. Now, the Pepper's Ghost Effect was by John, let me peek, I believe his name is John Henry Pepper. And are you guys all familiar with the Pepper's? Did you want to get him? Here, do you want to pop out at your dad? Yeah, come on in.
Do the scare again real quick.
Yeah, you go, you be scary.
Boo!
Nice change of pace compared to some of the other mazes you're in, right?
Yeah. Is this the only air-conditioned one?
This and Dark Ride are air conditioned. Yes. Yes, usually there's talent above with the bones trying to reach out for you. Welcome to the Catacombs. We're not sure he's a Catacombs that she knew about. Any of the skeletons you see here that still have skin on them, these are actually left over from the slaughterhouse. We had a lot of leftovers for that, so there's a lot of grisly, ghastly things there. The monster that's hiding in the wall back there, that is a mold of a mask based on one of the early Ghost Town street monsters. The originals are long gone. They would have like decomposed and decayed at this point. So we created a new one and put it on.
It has a weird texture.
We wanted to have that little nod. Continue. Deeper and deeper. This guy hiding around the corner is one of my favorites. You'll notice a lot of like lurking static monsters in here.
Did you get this person's face?
All right. I feel like I've been hogging this for a bit. Would you like to tell them about this one? Sure. I'll go ahead. Fantastic.
All right, everybody. We are now in the canyon. Woo! So this lies over you and scares you as you come through this last room here. You always thought it was indoors?
Further note, big to small coming into effect. Moving from the smaller chamber to this chamber, and sometimes Pony Express rumbles overhead.
I just always like trained my focus on the scare actor flying through the air.
This year, we're finally going to open its pages for the first time with the Grimoire Kangaroo Court.
Aye, aye, aye. It's a real witch hunt. We know. Wah, wah.
What's great about that thing too in the previous chamber is that oftentimes because she's flying around up there, you'll be looking at her and won't notice someone coming out of the shadows to get you down low. And you're looking up, so your throat's exposed. So if someone can get you like that, your throat's exposed. You're like, ah! Gasp scare. It's pretty strong.
What was that maze called? Origins? Okay. We just went through the Origins maze, and that was my favorite. Not only because it had air conditioning in the daytime, but also a lot of the sets were replicas of things we see in Ghost Town. So it looked familiar. There was also an outdoor portion of the maze with There was also an outdoor portion of the maze with rocks on the sides. It looked kind of like the log ride rocks.
Oh, thank you. Go ahead.
This one's called Mesmere, and from the looks of it, it seems like a circus maze. Normally on this behind-the-scenes tour, you can go to see 3 mazes. Normally on this behind-the-scenes tour, you're able to see 3 mazes, but for this time, we're going to see 4 mazes. So this is the extra.
So as he becomes attached to the sideshow, he starts to get a fascination with hypnotism. And we have Mesmere, Dr. Mortimer Mesmere, was the hypnotist of the sideshow, and he becomes his assistant. So Phineas starts to study with Mesmere to learn if they're the original Mesmere and put him under. And the results
Lights.
I have like a totally different understanding of this now.
Yeah, this front room has been reimagined. If you went through it before, this front room is now different than it was.
Aw, it's not air conditioned.
We want to show off our fine tattoo
What?
art.
No, I don't want to see that.
Tattoo parlor?
Okay. This is the tattoo parlor. Look at all the tattoos on the wall.
Oh yeah. No, that's fine. It's just the exact wrong angle at the wrong time.
It just does it.
Pretty tight on this one, guys. You're gonna see the eyeball motif.
And over here, there's a mosquito, there's a skull, and then there's good luck.
All right, everybody. So we are now into the parlor of the illustrated man. He's illustrated on the wall right here. Now he was one of the original sideshow acts who actually sought help from Mesmere. So he was unsatisfied with the amount of art that he was able to put on his body. He felt like he was running out of space. So once he was killed and then put under Mesmere's hypnosis, if you want to get any inspiration for any upcoming tattoos you guys may have, there's also, you're going to see a lot of references to some of our mazes as well in here. We've got like Paranormal Ink with a little ghosty there. This running sound effect. We wanted to have this running audio of Mesmere speaking his hypnosis into your ears. Now with the other sound effects that are ongoing, it's a little hard to get that. The original concept idea was to have guests enter with headphones, to have him talking in your ear the whole time. Obviously, kind of a logistical nightmare, didn't work out, but we do have it playing on a speaker that's about ear level, if you guys can find it. Where do you think it is? There? Yeah, you got it. So we do have hidden speakers throughout the maze at ear level to give you that sense that Mesmere is always whispering and speaking in your ears as you go through. And because it plays a little bit under the actual audio, you might not catch it, but if you listen for it, it's always there. Icky!
Take a moment to enjoy, take it all in. Very. That's how you know this is a Daniel North. It's gross.
I just want to touch it. I don't want it to.
Oh.
So,
Like 11 seconds.
oh, I see. Okay.
Why are you so
Make sure you
Why are you so obsessed with Halloween? Why are you so obsessed with Halloween? Okay, cool. Do you actually like Halloween? Yeah, Raleigh's favorite holiday right now. I like it too. It's pretty cool.
If you want to take Mr. Skeleton, David, I'll take the next room with Viola.
I'll take Mr. Skeleton. Just let me scoot up there. I'll get back here near the clock. Mortimer Mesmere, the original Mesmere. After he was poisoned and put under in the first test death, he was getting on in years, and so he had a thing about clocks and the passage of time. I guess in order to, have any of you seen the trailer for Mesmere that was released? You can definitely tell that Phineas and Mortimer had a very contentious relationship. And, want to talk about hidden speakers? Yeah, there's a ton, as they whisper to you. This is a great scare, because the actor for Mr. Skeleton will hide behind this grandfather clock, shove it forward, and pop out from behind it. Usually he looks kind of like a Grim Reaper or some other figure associated with that. Traveling sideshows like this are still big, but they're struggling.
Do what?
So we are we're in rough about
Oh,
early to mid-90s.
I'll walk slanted.
Is this an area?
Not this one, but
Yeah.
I thought that you were like I thought you were.
She was a very talented violin artist, but she just didn't feel like she could really feel the music. So after being killed and put under hypnosis, you can see that she has actually kind of
This is where they do the projection here, right? When you walk in and it's like makes you absolutely beyond busy. I'm feeling it now. I'm having a flashback.
Or stuffed away.
Yes.
Yes. If you want to play that Mesmere is actually helping some of these people, well, maybe he is.
He's helping some of them.
some of them. So this is the chamber.
Tap it there. Okay.
Like any good traveling show at the time, a snake charmer was a recurring thing. Someone who seemed to be able to mesmerize snakes and work with them. Now, this particular snake charmer, she loved snakes too.
Wow.
When this gets all cleaned up by opening night, you'll see the tightrope, and it'll just look like it drops into infinity. It's an old-fashioned theater trick using mirrors. I've seen people literally, even knowing that this is glass here, be like, ah, ah.
Oh, sorry.
Them here into this realm. Interesting, Mr. Zoetrope is not one of the sideshow performers. This is some sort of entity that lives just. You can hear the sound of a film projector going as you go through here. He wiggles back and forth a little bit, and while you're distracted by him, there is a smaller Mr. Zoetrope who comes out here to get you. These on the wall are not specifically Zoetrope, but they're another form of animation. But when held under flickering light, they do get. This thing is incredible and was inspired by the Haunting of Hill House, the floating man. Very tall, very merciless. But yes, feel free to take plenty of pictures, video.
He's copying your idea. Okay. Hold on.
You start to wonder, like, how much of this is just sideshows, how much of this is reality? With the story being explained, though, it's just a smorgasbord of.
I know, right?
Wait, look where?
Oh yeah, look up first. Look here. Look here.
The weather's pretty nice. Okay.
Go.
That's the final maze, Mesmere. And the thing that stood out in this one is there's illusion. The thing that stood out in this one is there's a tattoo room, there's illusions, and the whole time I think it's meant to make you mesmerized. So, actually my favorite part was the secret passage that you could take. What else? Of course, during the daytime, it's not like totally mesmerizing, but it's still nice to walk through. And I wouldn't want. Wait, hold on. And if you don't want to be, and if you want to walk through the maze without being jump scared by the bungee clown, do it during the daytime. That's the end of our Beyond the Fog tour. This is a behind-the-scenes tour that anyone can do. It costs $80 to see 3 mazes with the lights on, and you get what?
Yeah, frights off.
Oh yeah, and frights off. So the benefit of this tour is that you can learn about the deep meaning behind each maze, and also you can spend more time in it, because if you were to do this at nighttime, you would just be running through screaming. Whereas here you can take pictures and enjoy the sets more.